Hello, learners. Welcome back to the Motivated Mind Zone, and welcome to the Deep Dive. So today we are tackling one of the most common, I think most frustrating moments in learning any language, that frozen brain feeling.
Oh,
You know
definitely.
exactly what you did yesterday. You went to the gym, you finished a report, you talked to your family. But the second you open your mouth to say it in English, you just hit a wall.
It's like your brain is trying to translate everything in real time and the speed just collapses.
Exactly. And if you're practicing for an interview or maybe just trying to connect with a native speaker, being able to talk about the past, quickly, it's everything.
It really is.
But here's the good news. And we've pulled this straight from the source material we analyzed. Mastering how to talk about yesterday is, well, it's basically a formula. It's not about knowing 10,000 words. It's about nailing three core structures. Okay, let's unpack this. Our mission today is to give you that shortcut. We're going to extract the essential rules, the key verbs, and the phrases that let you discuss the recent past with confidence.
Right, without that painful mental translation block. And that focus is so important. The real goal here is to make that switch, the switch into the past tense, totally automatic.
So your brain spends less time worrying about grammar.
Exactly. When you look at how people successfully talk about the past, the core pieces are always the same. It's mastering the past simple tense and then building a simple conversational framework around it.
So let's start right there at the foundation,
Yeah.
the structural anchor that holds your whole story together.
Yeah.
You're talking about something that started and finished yesterday.
One golden rule.
You use the past simple tense. It's the engine of your sentence.
It really is. It's the default setting for any completed action. You have to internalize this right away. For instance, if you want to talk about going somewhere, the right way to say it is, I went to the store.
Not, I go to the store yesterday.
Never. The action is finished, so the verb has to show that.
And that brings up such a critical point. When we say, I went, the verb go completely changes to went. The tense isn't some extra word you add on.
No, it transforms the verb itself. That's the fundamental idea you need to lock down first.
Okay, so once you get that, English verbs, well, some of them at least, get a lot more predictable.
They do. And this brings us to what we like to call the easy wins. We're talking about regular verbs.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting for anyone learning. Regular verbs are your best friends. I mean, they follow this beautifully simple rule that just instantly unlocks hundreds of words for talking about the past.
And that rule is just add ed at the end.
That's it?
That's it. Think about the strategic advantage that gives you. If you know the word for today, you immediately know the word for yesterday. It cuts right through that translation block.
The sources confirm this with all the common daily verbs. So if you have the present tense verb play,
It becomes played,
wow,
becomes watched,
talk,
talked. It's so dependable.
and you can put this into a conversation immediately.
Right.
You could actually describe your day by saying, I played soccer yesterday afternoon.
Or, I watched a movie with my roommate. I talked to my friend on the phone for an hour. The speed comes from just knowing that that ed rule is reliable.
That simplicity is so encouraging. But let's be real. English loves its curveballs.
It certainly does.
So we have to turn to the second, more challenging category. And the sources all highlight this as the biggest bottleneck for fluency. We're talking about irregular verbs.
Yes. These are the verbs that, well, they don't follow that nice, tidy add-ed rule. They require active memorization. Their past forms can change completely.
So why bother? Why should you spend mental energy on these?
Well, because they're not obscure words you use once a year. They are the most critical, common daily actions. I mean, you use them every single day.
Right. If you don't nail these, you literally can't describe your basic day. They're like the 20% of verbs that do 80% of the work in a conversation.
Exactly. So we need to drill the core ones. From the source material, let's focus on the essentials. The verb eat.
Becomes 8.
Go becomes went. Have becomes had. Let's also throw in see, which becomes saw, and take, which is took. These are just non-negotiable.
Okay, let's put those into context right away. You might say something like, I ate lunch at my desk.
Or, I went to the gym after work.
I had a meeting that lasted 2 hours. You see how using the correct form like ate or saw, it's like a secret handshake.
It is. It signals fluency.
Yeah.
And you avoid that really common mistake of saying something like eated.
Right. So the strategy is to practice these core irregulars until they just feel like second nature.
You want to reduce that friction, that pause when you're trying to speak quickly.
So once we have the engine working,
Mhm.
the verb is in the right tense, we need the GPS, we need context.
The location and time.
Yes. So the next step is to move beyond just simple sentences and start using time expressions.
This is so important. Time expressions clarify when something happened. They put your action on a timeline for the listener, which, is vital for clear communication.
The analysis gives a really practical list that every learner should just grab. We go beyond just saying yesterday and get more specific.
Like in the morning or at night.
In the afternoon, a few hours ago.
And they just slot in so perfectly. For example, I studied in the morning, or I worked late at night.
A few hours ago, I finished my project.
See, those little words have a huge value. They help the listener track your story and even anticipate what's coming next.
This brings us to a section that I think we need to spend some real time on, because this is the leap. This is how you go from being correct to being natural.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about elevating the conversation by adding crucial details.
Absolutely. The simple sentence, I went to the store, is grammatically perfect, but it stops the conversation cold.
It's a dead end.
It is. Native speakers don't just state facts, they color them in. You need to add the who, what, why, and how.
Okay, let's run a quick before and after based on the sources. So, simple functional statement. I talked to my manager.
Fine. It's okay, but it tells me nothing. Now let's try enriching it. Maybe add the purpose and how you did it.
All right. Detailed natural statement. I talked to my manager briefly about the new project.
There it is. 2 new pieces of information, how you talked and why. The difference is huge.
Okay, another one. Simple statement. I watched a show.
Detailed statement. I watched a documentary on Netflix until midnight.
Ah, so you've added the specifics, what kind of show, where you watched it, and a precise time marker. It tells a much better story.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, adding these details is really the key to connecting with people. You're not just reciting grammar rules anymore.
You're offering something for them to respond to.
You are. You're offering a conversation piece. Use descriptive words instead of I did my work. Maybe try I diligently worked on my challenging project. That extra layer shows real command.
Okay, we focused a lot on telling our story, but dialogue is a two-way street.
That's right.
We need to shift focus now to how you ask other people about their day. We need the framework for questions about yesterday.
And this is actually a massive relief for the learner's brain. Because when you ask a question about the past, the grammar structure, it actually gets simpler.
Simpler.
How?
Because you introduce the helper verb did.
Okay, so this is the strategic moment. Why does using did make it easier?
Because did is the past form of do. So it immediately absorbs the past tense for the whole question. Since did is carrying all that weight,
The main verb doesn't have to.
the main verb just reverts back to its base form, its present form. This is huge. You don't have to worry about irregular verbs or adding an ed when you're asking the question.
That is the cognitive relief we were looking for. The grammar is actually helping your brain move faster.
Yes. So you can start with the most basic questions. What did you do yesterday? Notice it's do, not did.
Where did you go? Not went.
Exactly. Who did you see? The structure is incredibly reliable. And to move the conversation forward, you just swap out that first word. What time did you wake up? How long did you stay there? Why did you take the afternoon off? The core simplicity of using did is, well, it's a mechanism built for speed.
It is.
Okay, learner, this is your moment. Time to stop thinking and start repeating. We've covered the structures, the verbs, the time expressions, and the question framework. Let's put it all together. I want you to repeat these sentences internally or aloud right now.
Let's do it.
Okay, we start early. I woke up early yesterday because I needed to catch a train. So we have woke up, an irregular plus a detail with because.
Good. Next, a meal. I had a quick, simple breakfast with my family. Had another key irregular with some nice descriptive detail.
Then work. I worked diligently on my project for a few hours in the quiet morning. So that's a regular verb, worked, with adverbs and time expressions.
Midday action. I saw my friend and we ate a delicious lunch together. 2 irregulars back to back, saw and ate, plus more detail.
Evening activities. I watched a movie in the evening, but I didn't finish it. That's a regular verb, watched. And you're even showing the negative structure with didn't.
And finally, I went to bed late, feeling tired but accomplished. Went, another irregular, and you're describing how you felt.
Nice job. That whole sequence, it just flowed naturally. It used all the principles we covered.
And the more you use these full sentences, the more automatic that switch to the past is going to become. Consistency really is your key.
And that brings us to the end of this deep dive. I think we achieved our mission. We unlocked the formula for yesterday.
I think so too.
So what does this all mean? It means you have the practical tools to tell stories about your immediate past with real confidence. Let's recap. Talking about yesterday needs 3 key moves.
1, nailing the past simple tense, especially those critical irregulars.
2, weaving in time expressions to give your story context.
And 3, making your story richer with details, the who, what, why, and how.
By focusing on these few things, you have unlocked the ability to talk about the last 24 hours, the most fundamental unit of a person's life.
It is. So here's the challenge. Right after this deep dive ends, I want you to practice. Tell someone out loud 3 things you did yesterday and use a different irregular verb for each one.
I love that.
And, it raises an important question for your continued fluency. If mastering the simple past tense unlocks such a massive conversation category, it lets you share your daily life, what other simple grammar structures are acting as bottlenecks for you right now?
Good question.
Maybe it's the future tense or the continuous tenses. The path to fluency isn't about memorizing thousands of words. It's about targeting and mastering these specific, high-impact structural points.
Keep practicing, keep applying, and we'll see you on the next deep dive.